Hello students, this is Dr. Pawan Jagannath Tambre, working as Assistant Professor in Chemistry at Maratha Vidya Prasarak Samajas, GMD Arts, PW Commerce and Science College Sinnar. Today in this lecture, I am going to talk on one of the very important topic, that is choice-based credit system, which is implemented by Savitribai Phule Pune University, Pune in the academic year 2019-20, that is in last year. This is very important for all the undergraduate students because they should know what is the meaning of choice based credit system and what are their roles and responsibilities in this CBCS system. So first of all, we will see evolution in pattern of teaching, learning and evaluation system of education. So we can see that initially there was an annual pattern of teaching, learning and evaluation where student used to go for examination at the end of the year. That annual pattern has been changed and then we got a semester pattern. In semester pattern, in one academic year, student used to go for examination for 2 times for university examination. So that was semester pattern. And now we are going to implement a CBCS system, and I'm calling it as a partial CBCS system, and in future we may go for a complete CBCS system, which is expectations of government. So in this video lecture we will see what is the meaning of CBCS system and how it is going to make change in students' role and responsibility. First of all, we will see why this CBCS system is required. So there are some recommendations of National Knowledge Commission. According to National Knowledge Commission, in current education system is totally a teacher-centric approach. Teacher never asks why I am teaching this and what will students do after this exposure. There are no opportunities for certain things like group work, individual work, data collection, field work, quizzes, class test, research, community involvement and many other points. This is according to National Knowledge Commission. No interdisciplinary mobility is possible, means in current education system, if some student wants to pursue chemistry along with economics, then it is not possible. So no interdisciplinary mobility possible in current system of education. Lack of choices for the students. Students needs to take the courses which are available in that particular discipline only. So that is another drawback of current education system, and no opportunity to the learner to walk out and walk in to earn extra certification. So these are certain points which are highlighted by National Knowledge Commission, and in order to overcome this point and give education system a student-centric approach, government is implementing CBCS system in all the universities and colleges. So in last year, Savitribai Phule Pune University adopted this CBCS system and we are implementing the same. So if we compare the current education system, that is a semester-wise system, and CBCS system, we can have this analogy. In this picture, you can see two different types of restaurants. One restaurant is say called as Pizza Hut and another restaurant is a common restaurant which serve number of say food materials. When we enter into Pizza Hut, we can get only pizzas. So here the item is fixed, we can get only pizza. However, when we enter some common restaurant, in the restaurant you can get a menu, and in that menu you can choose a food material of your choice. Here you can order pizza, you can order chapati, you can order rice and anything of your choice. So this is the main difference between a current education system, that is a semester system, and CBCS system. And that is why academicians use this analogy to explain the difference between semester wise system and a CBCS system. Here in CBCS system, students are going to get number of choices for selection of courses, which was not there in semester wise system. So with this analogy, we will go forward. We will see what is choice based credit system. So it is a capital type approach in which students can take courses of their choice. Student can learn at their own pace. They can undergo additional courses. They can acquire more than the required credits and adopt an interdisciplinary approach to learning. As I told earlier, in case of new CBCS system, it is going to be possible that if some student want to take certain courses like chemistry, economics and history, then it is going to be possible in CBCS system. Student can take such type of courses in new CBCS system, which was not there in earlier education pattern. So transformation from the traditional teacher-centered education to a student-centered education is the main objective of this CBCS system. CBCS will provide greater flexibility with multiple exits and multiple pathways along with vertical mobility for students. With these, the main objectives of CBCS system are to provide broad-based education, to provide students with greater flexibility in choice of courses, to provide students multidisciplinary curriculum, to enable students to choose courses at basic, advanced or interdisciplinary level, to enable students to acquire job-oriented skills and to bridge the gap between professional and social exposure to provide a holistic education to the students. So these are certain objectives of implementing CBCS system. Now we will see the structure of CBCS system. In this CBCS system, it will be choice based, it will be semester wise, there will be a continuous assessment, credit will be allotted to students and they will be given grading. So what is the meaning of choice based? Multiple choices of programs and courses, and from this pool of courses student can choose course of their own choice. So that is why it is called as choice based. In new CBCS system, it will be a semester wise. There will be a clear cut identification of duration of teacher learner engagement, and in terms of assessment, there will be a continuous and comprehensive assessment in terms of classroom attendance, midterm test, assignments, surveys, projects, etc. In the meaning of credit is it will give due weightage in terms of number of instructional hours per week and transformation of actual marks secured by student in terms of later grades. Up till now, students used to get marks. Some student got say 90%, 70%, 50% and so on. But in new CBCS system, the marking system will be omitted and these marks will be converted into later grades. In this presentation, we will see the conversion of marks into later grades as well. So this is the pattern in CBCS system. It will be choice based, semester wise. There will be a continuous assessment and a particular period is given for a credit and student will have grading in spite of marks or percentage. So in CBCS system for science graduates, I am talking only about science graduate in this presentation, there will be total 132 credits need to earn in 6 semester. 6 semester is a minimum period. If there are some student who wants to earn this 132 credit in 2 or 4 semester, it won't be allowed. the students need to complete 6 semester as it is a minimum period. So there will be 44 credits allotted per year, and as it is semester wise, 22 credits are allotted per semester. So for BSc there will be total 6 semester and each semester will be of 22 credits, and students need to earn total 132 credits in 6 semester to earn the degree. Apart from these regular 132 credit, there are 8 mandatory credits which students need to earn, which is compulsory to get the degree. But CGPA will be calculated based on 132 credits. These 8 mandatory credits are not considered in calculation of CGPA. However, these 8 credits are mandatory to get the degree. The student-teacher interaction per semester will be of 15 weeks. So it is very clear in new CBCS system that one semester is equal to 15 weeks. Out of this 15 week, for theory, 12 weeks of teaching and 3 weeks for preparation to the students. So there will be engagement of teacher and student for 12 weeks as far as theory is concerned, and 3 weeks are given for students for the purpose of preparation. In case of practical, 14 weeks are for lab work and 1 week is for continuous assessment of student. So this is how one semester is divided for theory and practicals in CBCS system by Savitribai Phule Pune University. Now we will try to understand what is the meaning of credit, right? So in new credit system, one semester is equal to 15 weeks. So one credit is equal to 15 hours of theory, and one credit is equal to 30 hours of practical. This is need to be understood. One credit is equal to 15 hours of theory, and for practical, one credit means 30 hours of practical. Lecture timing in CBCS system is 50 minutes. There will be 3 lecture per week for earning 2 credits. Now, if you calculate it, then 50-minute lecture time into 3 lecture per week into 12 weeks, because we just saw that one semester is of 15 weeks, out of which for theory there will be 12 weeks and 3 weeks for preparation for students. So 50 minutes for one lecture into 3 lecture per week into 12 weeks, that is 1800 minutes divided by 60, that is 30. So 1 credit, so 2 credit is equal to 30 hours for theory paper. So each theory paper is of 2 credit, and this is the calculation for that particular theory paper. For FYBSc, practical is of 1.5 credit and the time allotted for practical is 3.15 hours. However, for SY and TYBSc, practical is having 2 credits and the time allotted for practical per practical is 4.20 hours. So from this slide, it is very clear that one semester is of 15 weeks, 1 credit means 15 hours of theory, and 1 credit means 30 hours of practical. Each lecture will be of 50 minutes, and this is a calculation of credit and hours. You need to remember that each theory paper is of 2 credit. However, in case of practical, for FYBSc, one practical is of 1.5 credit and time allotted for each practical is 3.15 hour. And for SY and TYBSc, the practical is of 2 credits each and the time allotted for practical is 4.20 hours. So these are certain changes in credit pattern. Now students are going to have different courses. The courses are defined in different ways. So there are different types of courses, and we can observe some courses like core courses, elective courses. Elective courses are of two different types, DSE and GE, that is discipline specific elective and general elective courses. Then skill enhancement courses, which are called as SEC. Then ability enhancement courses, and finally value education. So the courses are divided into these different types. We are going to see in this lecture how these courses are going to be beneficial for our students. So when we implement CBCS, we will now see the structure of BSc. So we know that BSc is a 3-year degree program. So literally speaking, for BSc, the first year student will have 4 subjects. That student can take subject of his or her choice. In second year, the student will have 3 subjects, and in third year, that student will have 1 core subject. So this is the pattern for BSc. First year 4 subject, second year the student can drop 1 subject out of 4 and can have 3 subjects. However, in third year the student can drop these 2 subjects from second year and will have 1 specialization. So this is structure for BSc. Now we will see one by one for different classes. Say for example, for FYBSc there will be 2 semesters, semester 1 and semester 2, and each semester will be having 4 theory and 4 practical. 4 theory courses means each theory is having 2 papers. For example, a student is having chemistry as one of the course. So in chemistry there are 2 different papers, chemistry paper 1 and chemistry paper 2. In the same way, student can have zoology, botany and physics, and each of these subject will have 2 theory paper and 1 practical paper. So in all, the student have 8 theory papers and 4 practical courses in first year in both the semesters, semester 1 and semester 2. And if we calculate the credit points, then we know that for theory paper, for each paper 2 credits are allotted. So 8 into 2, that is 16 credits for theory, and in FYBSc for each practical course 1.5 credit is allotted. There are 4 such practical courses in FYBSc. So the credit for practical is 4 into 1.5, that is 6. So the total credits in FYBSc for semester 1 and 2 both are 16 plus 6, that is 22 credit. So each semester is of 22 credit for this FYBSc class. Apart from these 22 credits, there are some compulsory courses in FYBSc which are focused on physical education, and this physical education is having 1 credit per semester. Physical education is mandatory. Student need to earn this 1 credit per semester in FYBSc. So this is for FYBSc class. Now in SYBSc, when student get promoted from FYBSc to SYBSc, student will drop 1 subject. So that student will have 3 courses or 3 subjects, and for these 3 subjects there will be 3 practical. Each subject will be having 2 theory papers, so there will be total 6 theory papers and 3 practical courses for that particular student in SYBSc. It will be applicable to semester 3 and semester 4. So 6 theory papers and 3 practical courses in SYBSc, and if you calculate credit points for SYBSc, that is for semester 3 and 4 both, then for each theory paper there are 2 credits. So for 6 theory papers the total credits are 12, and there are 3 practical courses in SYBSc, and we know that in SY and TYBSc the credit allotted to practical is 2 and not 1.5. So for 3 practical, there will be 3 into 2, that is 6 credit. So the total credit in semester 3rd and 4th of SY are 18 credits. Apart from this 18 credit, there are compulsory courses at SYBSc level, and these compulsory courses are in ability enhancement type of courses. In that, one course is on environment awareness, and this environment awareness will have 2 credit per semester. Dear students, please remember that environment awareness course will be in both the semester, that is semester 3 and semester 4, and in each semester it will be having 2 credits. Apart from environment, there will be some language which student needs to choose. It may be English, Hindi, Marathi, and for that language there will be 2 credits, and it will be compulsory in both the semesters, semester 3rd and 4th. So the total credits in semester 3rd and 4th are these 18 credit, which are based on their scientific courses, and 2 credit for environment awareness, 2 credit for communication or for language. So the total credits in SYBSc per semester are again 22 credits. So this is for SYBSc semester 3rd and semester 4. Now in TYBSc there will be total 6 theory papers and 3 practical courses, which are called as discipline specific elective courses. So in TYBSc, student will have 6 theory papers and 3 practical courses. It is applicable to semester 5 and 6 both. So when we calculate credit points for TYBSc, then for 6 theory paper, the student will earn maximum 12 credits. 6 into 2 credits, that is 12 credit. And for 3 practical courses, another 6 credits. So these are 18 credits to that particular discipline specific elective courses. Apart from these, students will have some compulsory courses in TYBSc, and in TYBSc in each semester 2 skill enhancement courses, that is SEC courses, skill enhancement courses will be there, and each course will be of 2 credit per semester. So please remember this. In TYBSc, there will be 6 theory papers based on subject of your choice and 3 practical courses. Apart from these 6 theory papers, there will be another 2 skill enhancement courses student need to take, and in all there will be total 22 credits in semester 5 and semester 6. 12 credits for these 6 theory paper, 6 credits for 3 practical courses, and 4 credits for 2 skill enhancement courses at TYBSc level in both the semesters, semester 5 and semester 6. So total credits are 22. In this way, from FY to TY, all the semesters are of 22 credits. Now, what is the meaning of this compulsory credit? So there are 132 compulsory credit for student, which student needs to earn in 6 semester. This is minimum duration, as I told earlier. So if we break up this 132 credit, it will be like in FYBSc 22 plus 22 in semester 1 and 2 respectively, that is 44 credits. In SYBSc another 44 credits, and in TYBSc another 44 credits. So addition of these 3 is 132 credit. This is compulsory credit which students need to earn. So if you look at this, in FYBSc physical education is compulsory, which is a part of compulsory credit. In SYBSc skill enhancement courses like environment awareness and language is a part of compulsory credit, and in TYBSc at TYBSc level the skill enhancement courses, that is courses based on their own subject. I will give some example for such courses as well. Those courses are also compulsory at TYBSc level, and it will make a compulsory credit, that is 132 credits. Now, apart from this 132 compulsory credit, there are 8 mandatory credit which are required to earn the degree for the students, and these 8 credit can be earned from these 9 groups. There are total 9 groups. In that, first group is physical education, which is of 2 credit, which is compulsory at FYBSc level. So student can earn this 2 credit which are required for these mandatory 8 credits. Then group second is a sports related activities can give some credits to the students. Group third is NCC, NSS, Rover Ranger and other such initiatives by the college. Group 4 consisting of some events like Avishkar, participation in cultural activities and so on. Group 5 is related to research. If some graduate students are able to present their research paper at some state level, national level or international level seminar or conferences, then they can earn certain credits through such activities. Group 6 is involvement of student in summer school. Group 7 is focusing on, apart from regular teaching learning, if student can undertake some surveys, then such student can get some credit to this type of activities. And group 8 is focusing on field visit, study tour, involvement of student in competitions at college level or at intercollegiate level and university level. So it will give some credits to student. And group 9 is online certificate courses which are run by Government of India. So student can earn these 8 mandatory credits from these 9 groups. So as I told, group 1 is having physical education, 2 credits per semester. It is compulsory. This is compulsory to earn the degree. Then in sports, if student is actively involved in sports at college level, then that student can get 1 credit for that active involvement. If student representing college at university or state level, then that student can get 2 credit for such representation. In case of NCC, NSS, if student completed a camp, then that student will get 1 credit for such activity. And if student represent the college at national parade, then that student will get 4 credit for such activity. In case of participation in Avishkar or cultural program, then for participation student can get 1 credit. If student represent college at university level in Avishkar or cultural program, then that student will get 2 credit for such representation. And if student represent college or I can say university at state level and that student wins that particular competition in Avishkar or cultural category, then it will give 4 credit to that student. Then group 5 is research paper presentation. If student presented a research paper at state level or national level seminar or conference, then that student will get 1 credit for such representation. However, if student presented a paper in international level, then that student will earn 2 credits. Participation of student in summer school will give that student 3 credit, provided that that summer school must be of minimum 1 week duration. Participation in surveys will give 2 credit for each such survey to the student. And in group 8, that is field visit, study tour and competition, involvement of student in activities like this will give 1 credit to each such activity. And in terms of online certificate courses, if student is able to complete some online certificate course, then for a course of minimum 10 hours, student can get 1 credit. If the course is of 10 hours, student will get 1 credit. If that course is of 20 hours, then student can get 2 credit for that course. And yes, if the course is of 40 hours, the student will get 4 credit for such online certificate course which are run by government agency like SWAYAM, NPTEL, and many more agencies are there. So these are some points for mandatory credits. And dear students, please remember, during your BSc you need to earn 8 mandatory credits from these 9 groups. Out of these 8 credit, you will get these 2 credits for physical education, because you need to participate compulsorily in physical education course at FYBSc level. But out of these 8 credit, you need to earn 6 credit from the category 2 to 9, and it is compulsory for the degree. Now this is very important. A student can earn maximum 4 credits from an individual group. So from this group number 2 to group number 9, maximum 4 credit can be earned from one group. It is not like that student is doing field visit or study tour in FYBSc, SYBSc, TYBSc in all the subject, and that student earn all the 6 or 8 credit from the group 8. It is not allowed. Student can earn maximum 4 credit from any group. Doesn't matter how many number of the activities that student had performed in that from that particular group, but that student will get maximum 4 credit for these individual groups. So this is about mandatory credits in new CBCS system. Now, what is the meaning of these skill enhancement courses and what type of skill enhancement courses will be there? This is just my perspective. University will give us guidelines regarding skill enhancement courses in next year. So there will be some skill enhancement courses like IPR, that is intellectual property rights, the aspect of green chemistry. For botany, we may have some courses like mushroom cultivation at TYBSc level. So there may be some courses on cheminformatics or bioinformatics which will be of 2 credits each. Okay, we may have some courses related to science and IT skills which will help you to get some job in the IT sector as well. We can have some courses on food science which can be undertaken by some subjects like chemistry, zoology, microbiology, biotechnology, and so on. And the college or university may design some courses on some aspects like science in daily life or science in day-to-day life. In case of physics, electronics, we can have some skill enhancement courses like repairing of electronic goods, repairing of mobile phones, and so on, so that student can get knowledge about such type of stuff and they can get its advantage after their graduation. So these are just my perspectives, but obviously next year university people are going to guide us regarding these skill enhancement courses. So there will be 4 courses in TYBSc, each of 2 credit. In each semester there will be 2 skill enhancement courses, and wherever possible in these skill enhancement courses hand-on must be included, because the perspective behind addition of these skill enhancement courses is student must get some idea that after their graduation what type of job, what type of skill they got, so that they can go for certain jobs, they can set up their own industry, they can set up their own business. So this type of skill students should get in their graduation, and that is why university included this type of skill enhancement courses in graduation program. And that is why wherever possible hands-on, that is practical, must be included in skill enhancement courses. Now we will try to summarize this presentation. So BSc will be of total 6 semester as I wrote here, and we can say that in FYBSc student is having 4 courses. Out of that 4 course, suppose one course is core course and remaining 3 are say elective courses. I call them here as elective 1, elective 2 and elective 3. So in FYBSc, suppose the core course of student is chemistry. So for chemistry, there will be 2 theory papers and 1 practical. Each theory paper is of 2 credit and practical is of 1.5 credit. So the credit for course core course is 5.5. 2 plus 2 plus 1.5, that is 5.5. In the same way, for elective 1, elective 2 and elective 3, the credit allotted are 5.5, that is 2 theory and a practical, 2 theory and a practical, here also 2 theory and a practical. So these are credit for core courses and elective courses in FYBSc. So if you calculate it, it will be total 22 credits. Apart from this, in FYBSc, there is a mandatory course of physical education in both the semesters. Right. Now, in second year, that is in semester 3rd and semester 4th, student will have one core course and they can have 2 elective courses. Student can drop 3rd elective course in its second year. So if you look at calculation of credits for second year, semester 3rd and 4th, it is like for core course, say for chemistry, throughout graduation we will consider chemistry as a core course. So for chemistry there will be 2 theory papers and 1 practical. For both the theory 2 credits and for practical also 2 credits in SYBSc. So 6 credits to core course and for elective course 1 and 2 6 and 6 credits. Same is the case for 4th semester. So there will be total 18 credits to this core course and elective 1 and 2. Apart from these 18 credits, student have to take this ability enhancement course, that is language, which is having 2 credit per semester, and there will be a compulsory course on environment. So 2 credit for environment course in each semester. If you sum up this, then it will be 22 credit in one semester, that is semester number 3rd and semester number 4th. 6 plus 6 plus 6, 18, 20 and 22 in semester 3rd and semester 4th. Now let's talk about third year, that is semester 5 and semester 6. In third year there will be just one course, say one subject, that is chemistry, and the total credit allotted for that subject are 22 credit. We have saw this. There will be 6 theory papers, 3 practical papers. Each theory and practical is of say 2 credit. Apart from theory and practical, there will be skill enhancement courses in TYBSc. Each semester there will be 2 skill enhancement courses and it will make total 22 credit in semester 5 and semester 6. Apart from these different courses, student need to earn 6 credits from group number 2 to 9, which are mandatory credits. These credits are mandatory to earn to get the degree certification. So if you look at this calculation, there are total 67 core credits. There are elective courses which are having 57 credits, and there are foundation courses which are having 16 credits. In these foundation courses, the 8 credits are for mandatory courses, then these 4 credits are for ability enhancement courses, that is language, and remaining 4 credits are for say value education, that is for environment awareness. So these 16 are foundation credit for students of BSc. So this is a summary of semester 1 to 6. Now we will try to do comparison of old and new system. We will see what is the difference, what is the change in CBCS system and our earlier annual pattern system. So in earlier pattern, in FYBSc there were 4 theory courses plus 4 practical courses, and if you think of CBCS, in CBCS also there are 4 theory and 4 practical courses. So what is the change for FYBSc student? Now FY BSc is semester wise. Earlier first year graduation was annual pattern, now it is going to be a semester pattern. In SYBSc earlier there were 3 theory papers, 3 practical courses, a language course and environment awareness. Same thing is there in new CBCS system. There are 3 theory courses, 3 practical courses, a language course and a course on environmental awareness. So now the change is environmental awareness program is semester wise. Earlier it was annual pattern, now it is semester wise. And in third year, in earlier pattern, student used to have 6 theory papers, 3 practical papers. And in new CBCS system, along with 6 theory and 3 practical courses, there are 2 skill enhancement courses which are compulsory for TYBSc students. So the change in TYBSc is 2 skill courses which are compulsory at third year level for students. So these are some notable changes in new CBCS system. But apart from these, the main objective of CBCS system is student can take any subject of their choice. And yes, apart from all these, there are 8 mandatory credits in new CBCS system. This is very important point. There are 8 credits which are mandatory and student need to earn these 8 credit in 6 semester. Now we will see structure of marks in examination. For that, consider a student is having chemistry as a core course throughout his or her BSc. So suppose chemistry is core course, then for FY BSc that student will have 2 theory papers, say chemistry 1 and chemistry 2 and a practical paper. So in FY BSc, as we know that each theory paper is having 2 credit and practical is having 1.5 credit. So internal mark for theory and practical will be 15 for say chemistry paper 1, 2 and practical chemistry, and external examination, that is the examination which is conducted by university, will be of 35 marks. So the total marks assigned to paper 1, paper 2 and practical per semester are 50. So for one core course, total 150 marks are there per semester. Now on the basis of this, we will calculate total number of marks per semester or per year. So suppose a student is in FY BSc, so that student is having 4 courses, right? This is calculation for one course, that is 150 per course. So in FY BSc there are 4 such courses, so 4 into 150, that is 600 marks. So FY BSc semester first will be of 600 marks and semester second will also be of 600 marks. If you look at SYBSc, in SYBSc the student will have 3 courses. Along with that 3 courses, the student will have environment awareness and language. So for 3 courses, again the similar pattern, theory 1, theory 2 and practical 1 for say one subject, 150 mark for one subject. So 3 courses means 3 into 150, that is 450, and along with this 450 there will be 100 mark for environment plus language course. So total 550 marks in semester 3 and semester 4, that is SYBSc. And if you consider TYBSc, then for TYBSc there will be total 6 papers, theory papers, 3 practicals and 2 skill enhancement courses. Each theory paper or practical or skill enhancement course will be of 50 marks. So for theory, 6 into 50, that is 300 marks. For 3 lab courses, that is practicals, 3 into 50, that is 150, and for 2 skill enhancement courses, 2 into 50, that is 100. If you add this, it will be 550 marks per semester. So this will be a marking system in CBCS system. Now we will see evaluation pattern. In CBCS system, evaluation pattern is 70:30. That is 70% mark are based on university examination and 30% marks are on continuous assessment by college or institution. So there are two types of assessment, continuous assessment and university examination. So if a paper is of 50 marks, then 15 marks are allotted for continuous assessment and 35 marks are allotted for university examination. Out of these 15 marks in continuous assessment which is given by college, student needs to secure minimum 6 marks, and out of these 35 marks which is based on university examination, students needs to secure minimum 14 marks. Students need to secure these marks in both the cases individually, that is minimum 6 in continuous assessment and minimum 14 in university examination for passing. Now in case of continuous assessment, what is included? In continuous assessment, according to circular of Savitribai Phule Pune University, student may engage in seminar competition, viva hoc, field visits, project, surveys, tutorials, assignments, regular assignments, group discussion and any other type of evaluation type of system. For continuous assessment, 2 test paper must be conducted, out of which one must be of 10 marks. This is the responsibility of teacher. For each theory subject, that teacher need to conduct minimum 2 test paper, and out of those 2 test papers, one paper must be of 10 marks, and on the basis of these all, student will get marks for their continuous assessment, that is out of 15 marks. Now we will see what are the etiquette rules in this new CBCS pattern. Minimum 31 credits, that is 70%, should earn by student in first year for admission to second year. We know that the maximum credit student can earn in first year are 44 credits. Out of those 44 credit, student must earn minimum 31 credit, that is 70%, so that that student can get admitted to second year course. Otherwise that student will not get admission in second year. And for third year admission, student must have got 100% credit, that is 44 credit in first year, plus in second year the student must have got 22 credit, that is 50%, because we know that each year student are going to get 44 credit. So in second year that student must have earn 50%, that is 22 credit, then only that student get admission to TY-BSc course. Now we will see letter grades and grade points. As I told earlier, in the new CBCS system, this marking system is omitted, and now we will be having letter grade and grade point system. So here we can see equivalence of letter grade, grade point and marking system. If student got marks between 90 to 100, then the grade point for this will be 10 and letter grade will be O, which stands for outstanding. If student received 75 to 89 marks, then grade point will be 9 and the letter grade will be A plus, that means excellent. If student is having marks between 60 to 74, then grade point will be 8 and the letter grade will be A, that is very good. And if student got marks between 55 to 59, then grade point will be 7 and letter grade or grade will be B plus, that is good. If marks are in between 50 to 54, then grade point is 6 and letter grade will be B, which means above average. And if marks are in between 45 to 49, then grade point will be 5 and later grade will be C, which means average. If marks obtained by students are in between 40 to 44, then grade point will be 4 and later grade will be P, which means pass. The student has passed that particular, say, level. And if marks are below 40, then grade point will be 0 and later grade will be F, which means fail. And obviously if marks are 0, it means if student is absent, then grade point will also be 0 and later grade will be A, that is absent. So on your mark sheet, now you are going to find out this grade point and later grade, and this is a correlation between later grade, grade point and marks secured by that particular student. Now we will see what are the major changes and its impact. So if you look at this new CBCS system, then in choice based credit system, first year is in semester pattern, which was earlier annual pattern. Now practicals are also going to be semester wise. Earlier practical we used to conduct at the end of academic year, but now practical will be semester wise. First year and second year are almost seems to be same. However, in TYBSc level, the skill based courses are introduced. So these are some major changes. Apart from this, there are additional 8 credits which are mandatory for student to earn, without which student may not get their degree certification. So if you look at all these changes will have some impact on role and responsibility of students. Student will participate more and more in extracurricular and co-curricular activity, because now extracurricular and co-curricular activity are must. Through these extracurricular and co-curricular activities, students can earn some credits, some mandatory credits. Participation in NSS, NCC, Rover Ranger, cultural activities and sport will definitely enhance, because student now got an idea that these activities, participation in such activities will give them some credits which are important for their degree. One of the major impact of this CBCS system which I can see is research culture will get developed, because research got credit for students. If student is able to present at, say, some seminars at state level, national level, international level, or if student can publish some research paper, then for such contribution student is going to get some credits, and this will help to earn the degree. So as a result, we can anticipate that participation of student in research will definitely get increase. So this is one of the very important point in the new CBCS system. And last but not the least, online courses will play very important role in earning the degrees. We know that Government of India has launched many online initiatives. One of the best is Swayam portal. Through Swayam portal, student can enroll for certain courses, and online they can earn some credit, and those credit must be considered by university for mandatory credits. So online courses will play very important role in this new CBCS system, and in that case the initiatives by government like Swayam, NPTEL, NMEICT will play very important role. So overall, the CBCS system will help in overall development of our students. So according to me, these are the major changes and impact of CBCS system on students' life. I hope in this video lecture you got to know about what is CBCS system, what student needs to do and what student need not to do, where student is supposed to focus during the course of BSc. These will get clear through this video. Thank you very much for watching my video. Thanks a lot, and all the best for earning your degree.